Right.
I've noticed that the quality of popcorn has gone down. I feel.
Yeah.
I
agree.
not like they're all half chewed is how I feel. Like it feels like someone like they're all half popped, and I think it's on purpose because I always go back and get more and it's better.
Really? I've come to find that if my first bag is not pristine, it's not good, I will set it down and forget about it. 2-3 bites in. I'm a popcorn and icy guy. So
in your house made of gold, just letting popcorn lay around. My goodness. You're like the queen.
Very much so in that.
Cold open complete, Daniel. Hey, everyone. Welcome into Fandom Social. My name is Paul. This is Daniel. Autumn could not join us. She had an emergency that she had to attend to, but we have a really, really great show. This is the first episode of an entire new series that we're going to be doing. We hope once a month, where we are going to be interviewing creators, artists, dancers, aliens, if they will email us back. We really want you guys to get to know some of these creators that you guys watch a ton. Maybe some of you see on TV, you've seen in movies, some of you subscribe to, and if you haven't subscribed to their channels, you will after the interview. Daniel, this has been something that we've been wanting to do for, me and Autumn been kind of had this in the works for like a year now, and this is actually Autumn's baby, to do a creator series, which we're very excited
that she couldn't be here with us.
It was planned. She's just so distracting. Truly, she's very distracting. But no, she really does wish she could be here. And she'll be here for the next one, whether we all like it or not. So we're very, very excited. And more so, we are incredibly excited for our guest today. But before we get to him, if you are here from his channel, his Facebook group, or you're here from ours, it doesn't matter. Everyone, hang out. There's enough juice for everyone. Please, no need to share. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really are trying to grow this channel out and do more of this and reach out to more creators, more artists, and people that you guys would love to see. So with that, while we got all of the housekeeping out of the way, it is time to bring on our guest. He is a host. He is a producer. He's a writer, whether he knows it or not. He's a fighter. He's a lover of all things X-Men, and my best friend, whether he knows it or not. Sorry, Daniel. And most importantly, probably the internet's the best dad on the internet. Everyone, please welcome Miguel Figueroa from ToyQuest 101. Bring him on. Oh. What up, man?
What's up, man? What an introduction, man. First off, I'm honored being the first on this series, man. I really appreciate it, but I'm definitely happy to be here with you guys. So looking forward to it.
We are so excited to have you. Our paths have crossed for years now, but even more so lately is where we've both, you've always sort of been doing your own thing. Now me and Autumn and Daniel and the other members of our Fandom Social team have been, we're in free agency now. We're in the wild, wild west with you guys. And our paths have crossed even more lately. So it only seemed fitting to bring you on as the very, very first creator in our creator series. So before we get into the questions, before Daniel hops off, how are you feeling about sitting in an entirely different seat? Because now you're the one being interviewed. You get to just like sit back and hang out. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm all right, though. I feel a little nervous. I was just telling Daniel, man, because, usually I do the praising of others and stuff. So it's kind of weird to talk about myself type of thing. But man, at least I don't have to toggle between stuff. So I'm kind of happy about that. But man, yeah, I'm just excited to be here, man. Share the good company.
Yeah. We're going to start seeing him progressively just get like more and more relaxed. My chair broke. And as he's just going to like just hang back, he's going to have a drink. And be like, oh, he likes this quite a bit. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, we know that you are here to get to know Miguel. Again, a lot of you know Miguel from his channel, ToyQuest 101. You can pretty much find you guys everywhere at ToyQuest 101, at least for my research. Is that right?
Yep, everywhere. Just
everywhere.
Google ToyQuest 101. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
You got your YouTube shorts are very good. I love them.
Thanks.
They're good. All right. Well, we should get started because, as we were saying behind the camera here, Miguel, me and Daniel were working on the script, and we had like 35 to 40 questions for you.
Easy.
But we dwindled it down. And what we're going to do, everyone, and we're going to be doing this with the series in general, is we're going to be looking at like the past, present, and future, which I feel is very fitting for Miguel's channel. There's a lot to each of these segments. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's get right into it. All right, Daniel, we'll let you man the ship from behind the scenes here. We'll put the emphasis here on Miguel. Daniel, go. Oh my God.
I'm going. It's fine. I'm leaving.
Everyone. This is why you don't hire your family to do anything. Well, anyways, nepotism works. All right, Miguel, how you feeling, man? Happy Thursday. Would you normally be doing a show right now? Like, what would you normally be doing at this moment?
Not on Thursdays. Actually, I would be. Well, I'll just be getting home from teaching, so that's where I would be coming from.
Teaching? What are you teaching?
I teach MMA, mostly jiu-jitsu, but I teach mixed martial arts.
Oh, see, I thought you're teaching like posing and like the science of a maquette, maybe.
No.
All right. Well, with that, I wanted to sort of jump into what we'll call like the past of your channel, but really it's your channel's origin story. I want to, before we get into ToyQuest, let's talk a little bit about who you were going into ToyQuest. Like, where did you start collecting? Like, there's always one person in your family, whether it doesn't always have to be collectibles, but where did the collector bug start for you?
Oh, it was definitely my grandfather. Although he didn't collect anything comic book related, he was always collecting like baseball cards, sports memorabilia, things like that, model cars. But yeah, he was definitely the collector of the family / hoarder. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I still have some things of his. But yeah, he was definitely the collector, man.
Yeah, my grandparents would collect soup cans that were 4 years out of date, as well as just wrenches that my grandpa would find working around. We're like, you have 11 of them. You don't need
it.
Yeah. So the collector gene, I'm sure, started there. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I really feel it gets, it'll help, obviously, not only me get to know you a lot better, but everyone that watches your channel. I mean, you guys are over 150,000 subscribers on your channel, which again is an immense, which we'll get to. I want to talk about your many successes, but what was it like in your head? When I was formulating this question, I knew my answer, but I was so curious about you because you have such a wide range of things you collect. What was the first collectible you remember making like a deep impact on you, that you're like, I remember that, I hunted that down, and like that is a favorite of yours?
It would probably, as a kid, I collected action figures and stuff. I grew up in Puerto Rico most of the time. I was back and forth between Puerto Rico and here in the States because I played baseball a lot. But, we didn't really come from, money or anything like that. So there was a lot of things that I couldn't really afford. But two things that stood out for me was a purchase of my own, right? Like with my money type thing.
Oh, okay.
And two of them. So one of them was when my local comic book store years ago, I walked in. I always would walk in, always window shop. But then one day I walked in and I saw Hulk 181, which is the first appearance of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And he had it up against the wall. And I was like, man, he saw me staring at it. He's like, hey, you need help with anything? I'm like, man, I'm looking at that comic book. He's like, you really want that, don't you? I see it in your eyes. Typical salesman, right? But he was nice enough, man, to let me do it on kind of like a payment plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I probably paid like maybe $400, right?
Not bad.
And he gave me the issue before it and the issue after it. It wasn't a perfect copy, right? But I went and got it eventually autographed by almost everybody that's no longer with us, unfortunately. But Stan Lee, Herb Trimpe, it's got like 5 signatures on it right now, and it's worth a couple $1,000, close to $10,000 right now, just that one. But I remember that was like a big goal of mine, like Wolverine being my favorite character, that comic book being so sought out. You know, I didn't travel to cons or did anything like that. It was literally at a comic book store, something I thought I would have never, you know, been able to find in the wild like that.
Right.
The other one was again something I purchased on my own. Was my first statue, which was surprisingly a sideshow piece, and I still have.
That plug is free, Sideshow.
I didn't know what Sideshow was. I didn't follow them, anything like that. It was actually a coworker of mine's husband who had like a business account with Sideshow. He ordered statues and all that stuff, and I didn't know anything about it. I saw the thing from the Fantastic Four premium format statue. I thought, man, that's a cool statue. He's not even my favorite character. I just thought it was cool. He bought it. I paid it with my commission check, and I still have it to this day, and it still holds up to the statues today. But those two things are something I'll never forget because it was just like me doing it on my own type thing. But like when I was, you know what I mean? When I was young though, like, you know, there was always action figures I would get, like KB Toys stuff, Toys R Us stuff. But those two things really had like an impact that I'll never forget because it was just like I graduated at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you know, like fruit tastes sweeter when you pay with it with your own money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that type of deal. Yeah, it's like when I've lived different places with people, and you have your own apartment, right, in your own place, in your own home, and you're buying your own groceries. You're like, I'm gonna enjoy every grape on the vine, every single one of them. But yeah, man, I know you've been such like an advocate, you know, in this community for so much positivity, and there's so much that I feel that you've done very, very positively. Our channels have very aligned goals, I would say. And I know, like, from our standpoint, where that rosebud is, you know, where it stems from. But I want to know about you. Like, take us through the moments, let's say the month leading up to the start of your channel, and like, where did you know you're like, this is what I want to do, and then how long did it take you to pull the trigger and turn the camera on?
Yeah, so that's a deep question. We had to pop in. Deep question, but yeah, man. So I actually didn't know I was gonna do this. It's not like you know, I was in college one day or school and woke up and said, "Hey, I wanted to be on YouTube." Right? Like I grew up outside. I never did anything like this. But I was a new dad. You know, everybody who knows me knows my daughter Illiana. This is actually her show, right? I'm just the co-captain, right? But Illiana was, I believe she was around 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. And for those who don't know, Illiana has autism. So as a parent, as a new parent, right, when we found out she had autism, you know, I was not knowledgeable about autism. You know, when we found out she had autism at an early age, you know, I cried, all this stuff. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then obviously I educated myself, and, you know, it helped me learn as a person and grow, you know, with a child that has autism. And she was great, man. She's just a bundle of joy. And, you know, although she did things differently, it was good to see. Like, for me to put myself back into a kid's mind or see through their eyes was just a challenge, but it was a rewarding challenge, right? So one day, and again, another plug-in for Sideshow, but, you know, we used to watch YouTube together. That's what kids did at the time and still do. So we were laying down on the bed, and we were actually watching Sideshow. I believe it was Spooktacular, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, man, one day we were watching it, and that's something that we just did together because she liked the superhero stuff. She knew I liked it, and we were just, you know, fantasizing over all these amazing art that was created of these statues that weren't figures, right? Or that weren't like, you know, action figures or anything like that. And you know, and Sideshow was fun. You know, they make you laugh. Obviously, when you were on there, you know, Autumn was on there. It's just enjoyable to watch, even though, you know, you're looking to purchase stuff. It was just something to do as a you know, father and daughter. It was our thing to bond over, right? And one day I told her, hey, you know, you should do your own YouTube channel. That's what the kids are doing nowadays, right? She got real sad, man, and she like closed the tablet up. And she got real sad. So I kind of sat up and I was like, what's wrong? And of course, you know, all the wrong things went through my head. She was getting bullied. Somebody told her she couldn't do it, you know, something like that. And when she replied, she said, you know, I can't do it because I have autism. So that was like the most heartbreaking thing to hear come out of, you know, her mouth. I thought it was going to be something else, but for her to understand that she had autism and think that that was a roadblock to accomplishing anything just really broke my heart. Now, during that time, it so happened to be that I was remodeling or my basement and, you know, putting the walls up and stuff.
Right.
It was just, you know, cement floors and didn't have walls or anything like that. And I had, you know, pop culture stuff. I had comics, I had, you know, figures, a couple statues, maybe some posters, things like that. And, you know, I set the room up and I said, man, I'm going to go, you know, to Walmart or whatever store I got. And I got some blind bags. And I said, man, I'm going to try to do a show with her. So I got my cell phone out, real, like, you know, real non-professional. I had my cell phone out, you know, we were just talking, no mics, no nothing. And I remember bringing her down the stairs and she didn't see the basement at the time because, you know, it was all closed off. And finally now it was kind of done. And when she saw the table and the lights and all that, you know, her eyes lit up. Her mom was with us. Her mom had to like control the, you know, tablet and stuff. So I didn't know what was going to happen, you know, but she was so happy. And I said, okay, well, we're going to do these blind bags. It's real simple. There's characters in the back, right? Figure out which one you want to get. We're going to see if we can get them. All right. She's like, yeah, let's get it. Man, when we hit record and we started, man, like you could see it in her face, and it was crazy. Yeah, it's just a switch, man. It was a switch. I'm like, I got goosebumps right now. Switch because she did so many things that we had trouble with growing up with autism, right? Because, you know, obviously she had some issues speaking in full sentences, pronouncing things, but she tried so hard to do it during the show because she didn't want to mess up that. She just did a great job, and she really didn't mess up. Like I was more nervous, and she was like a star. Like if she did this before, but it opened up another side of her, and you know I had to keep a straight face, but like I was like, you know, trying to jump out of my body of excitement. I see her mom sitting down, kind of just like her eyes were just like.
I went back and watched for everyone, I was telling Miguel, I went back and watched probably 25 of his first videos. I don't want to break this to you, but you did not do a good job at hiding how excited you were for her.
Bro,
you can see your joy, like in her joy.
Yeah.
And that is something that me and Autumn have always loved about you and Illiana and your channel is just, it's like content like with a purpose, like whether you know it or not, like they're not just blind bags. Like we understand like what you're doing, and it's just so evident. In those early videos, man.
I like it was just crazy because like I said, it just opened up another side of her. So when we got done doing the video and we hit stop, like obviously I high-fived her and stuff, and just like her mom and me were just looking at each other. We were so proud. It was like one of the most proudest things ever, right? And you know, later on we talked about it. It's like, man, we should keep doing it. And I asked her, you want to keep doing it? She's like, yeah. And not only for her development, but like to inspire other kids, because how many other kids out there, people are thinking that they can't do something because of something, you know what I mean? Because they have autism, because they have, you know, a special need or anything like that. And, you know, since then we just kept going. And then, you know, right after that, I remember us winning something from Sideshow. It was a Wolverine. I had this Spooktacular was like our thing. I love it. It's around the corner, which is funny.
Is that the bedtime story that you read?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I loved it. It was great.
So I had to sell my soul, right, to read Illiana Green Eggs and Ham in my Wolverine voice and my Wolverine getup, which is horrible. And I still actually have all that. I have when they talked about us, I all saved it on a playlist on our channel just because it was a great memory. And that's when she really got like, man, like this is real, because now
Mhm.
she's winning. Somebody's sending her something to unbox, right? Even though we won it, like she felt like, man, somebody sent me this, and I'm like, Illiana, look, now we could do a figure versus, you know, like a blind bag. So like that almost felt like a reward to her. It meant so much, and I still have the figure. And she knew Wolverine was my favorite, so she was so excited for me, and I was excited. And man, from there, it just it just skyrocketed to different events that
Yeah.
happened during the timeline up to now. But I never would have imagined that we would be so big. I never would have imagined that we would have so much of an impact around the world, man. And
Mhm.
what I mean by that, I'm not just talking, us doing unboxings and stuff. I'm talking about the people who've reached out to me from third world countries, or countries that don't have the support system that they have in the United States to deal with kids that have autism or special needs, just looking for
Wow.
advice. I never
Mhm.
would have imagined them to reach out to me. And I'm no doctor. I'm not, a specialist by all means, but I know what I've been through with my daughter, and I've, helped a lot of people, whether it's just having a conversation with them or giving them ideas and stuff. And it's just been very impactful. So, and like I said, I never would have thought to be where we're at now. That was never the plan. Hey, if I had an audience
Mhm.
of 2 and I put a smile on somebody's face, I would have been okay,
Yeah. I
Um,
totally.
but yeah, but that's kind of the gist on how that kind of happened. But again, I would have never thought I would still be doing this till this day. Never thought of it.
So just that real quick, beautiful, heartwarming story. That's it. That's it. Just in
Yeah.
case you guys were wondering. But this is a live show, and we love, and Miguel can appreciate this as well, because he does a live show every week. Also, man, feel free to just plug your shows all away. This whole thing is about you. So if you're like, also, I have this show live at this time, feel free to do it. But we have some comments from folks that I wanted to read to you. Miguel Jen Edwards had said, being a parent of a child with autism isn't easy. So much respect. Laura Kila says, that's how my nephew was with video games. His autism faded away when he was playing or talking about video games. Austin says he's learning so much. And Janice says such an incredible, heartwarming story. And it is. And I think there's so much to be said there, Miguel. And I think it shows. And it's why people have gravitated towards you. It's your authenticity. And it's your, like, I think you bring like a human feel to a very, very human hobby of collecting, right? Like, remember, it's only hoarding if you leave it in boxes, everyone. If it's out and proud like Miguel's doing it, it's called collecting. But yeah, I feel like you and Illiana bring a very relatable and a very human touch to it, and I would assume that's why people have come to you. Like, how do you deal with people messaging you? Like you said, I'm sure people are asking you about autism, and I know a lot of it is so important and impactful on your channel and your journey. Like, do you find yourself, like, does it ever get less surreal to you when people are asking you these questions and coming to you for advice, when you're like, that was never the goal?
Yeah. I tell you what, man, I never stop getting surprised by things.
Yeah.
And this is like a full-time job. Like, it's crazy because I answer everybody, no matter what it is, whether it's a question about collecting, whether it's a question about parenting, whether it's a question to go do, a seminar at a school or auditorium or anything like that, or a con. I'm always answering my phone. I'm always being there available for people, just because, we want to help. Whether, again, it's the collecting side or the parenting side and stuff. But it gets crazy, man. Like, I'll never forget the day that they invited us to be at the mall for like a free comic book day, and they made it like a con, right?
Yeah. Saw
And
that.
man, this was crazy too. And I remember us having a table, and it was a long day. I was exhausted, so I was like, Illiana, stay at the table. I'm gonna walk around and stretch a little bit. And I went with her mom, walking around, and then I'm looking at the tables, and all of a sudden I had this thing grab onto my legs, man. And I looked down as this little girl, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what is happening? Right. And her mom's looking at me, and I'm like, what is happening right now? And she looks up, the cutest little thing, man. She goes, oh my God, we've been looking for you all this time. And I'm like, really? And I look up and I see finally a mom walking, and I'm like, all right. And she's like, oh my God, we've traveled 3 hours to come see you guys, and we couldn't find you. We're so happy we found you. She goes, look, I have autism. And she had an autism bracelet. And oh my God, I was close to tearing up. And I brought her to the table because she wanted to see Illiana. She immediately hugged Illiana. Illiana was like happy. I literally gave her everything on the table. I said, just take it all.
Yeah.
Like things like that. I never would have imagined that, you know. And to this day, we still like, I'll go to the cons, and a lot of times, most of the time, you know, I bring Illiana with me, and people are constantly stopping us, and it still surprises me. Like I'm just like, oh, hey, oh my goodness, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, it just doesn't stop getting, you know, it doesn't get old. I love it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's surprising as well, because I'm, you know, I don't think I'm anybody special, you know what I mean? I don't, that's weird to say, but
Most special people don't. To be honest
yeah,
with you.
man, I appreciate that. But yeah, man, it's just, you know, I'm here for whoever needs me to be there for them, you know?
Yeah. And I think that leads segues very, you must be a host or something. That segues very well into the last question I wanted to ask you. I think one of the most you guys have done all types of content, and we could sit here just talking about me and Daniel, again, doing research in your show. We got a kick out of watching the different camera angles, the different lighting, like 15 different types of lighting for 15 different types of videos.
Oh my God.
You know, and Daniel was noticing the audio, and it was just interesting to see you guys grow. But one of the things that I found the most interesting and again the most prolific of your channel is the episode that you guys did very early on with the Boys and Girls of America Club. I wanted to kind of talk to you, like, do you have is there a special reason as to why, like, you guys did something with them? Did you grow up with that club specifically?
No. So my mom was actually the one in that video. A lot of people don't know. She was the president of the Boys and Girls Club. And I would actually give her credit for probably the way how I am now, because she has been somebody who's always been there for her community. Like, she's always trying to help out. So I know one of our goals, one of our biggest goals to the channel, is to try and help out where we can. I didn't want to just stop at autism. I wanted to continue with any subject that's a positive subject or something that needs to be talked about, and, you know, make people feel like they're not alone, you know. So when we did the Boys and Girls Club, you know, a lot of those kids, you know, didn't have, you know, great circumstances at home, and, you know, we're there to socialize and stuff. So when we brought them all toys or blind bags, and we put them on the show. We had to get like signatures and stuff, but they loved it, man. It was like our own little audience, but at the same time, you know, it was exciting for them. It was something new for Illiana to be in front of a crowd this time, you know. She did excellent. And it was just one of those things, and it was the start of us doing things outside of our norm and outside of the hobby, but for the community. And then, and again, when you're talking about how the channel grows into different avenues, because we're pretty much all over the place, but you know, we wanted to do things like that. We ended up doing things for, you know, the homeless in Philadelphia. We went and, you know, made bags for them on Be Kind Day. We did a Red Nose event at Walgreens with the 501st Star Wars.
That was great.
It was great. But we've always done things like that, and, you know, it got to the point where we were doing so much that we actually got an award from the White House, or that was created by the White House, from George W. Bush Sr. It's the Points of Light Award. It's a number that's specifically tied up with us. And basically that award was created for people in the community that did outstanding work as a humanitarian or volunteerism, charity work, all that stuff. But that was like a huge thing that, you know, came from that field, and people started hearing our story. We started being on the news. Then we started to grow. Like, you could Google us and see all these different like radio segments or news channels, or, things like that. And I wanted to show Illiana at an early age how she could make an impact to others, and that's why I think she's so mature now. But man, it grown from being now this YouTube channel where we're unboxing toys and figures to now helping people with autism, and now helping other people with circumstances, or bringing up things and helping where we can, doing charity work, being there for the community. And it's something that we wanted to accomplish, and we still do to this day. We just don't put a lot of it on video because, and I get this question a lot, because it's certain things, I don't want people to think I'm doing it for views, if that makes sense. And I learned that, now I'm going off on a tangent, but I learned that actually when we were in Philadelphia, and, we were giving food to the homeless, and I said, wait, after we aired the show and I watched it, I was like, yeah, it came out good. I thought to myself, man, if I was in that person's position and, I'm hungry and I got this camera in my face, how am I going to feel? So like, I kind of put a stop to that. But still, people know the amount of work that we still contribute. And we still do to this day, whether it's toy drives and Christmas, whether it's school assemblies, whether it's like, we do so much. And that's just, again, how you said, it's how the channel starts to progress and grow and branch out to certain things. So our show is a pop culture show, but, again, the celebrity guest was another thing that kind of just, unraveled for us. And again, the community work. So the show just started growing branches, man. And that's something that, we wanted to continue to do. We just, I wanted to be different.
Yeah.
In a positive.
And I think you've accomplished that. And I think you've accomplished that through purpose, through authenticity, through just literal passion. Again, from just watching your show. And I think it's interesting. I implore everyone out there, if you're watching right now, after this show, go to their YouTube channel and go to the oldest videos and then just watch through some of them. It's really interesting to see ToyQuest go from a logo to a brand. That's, one of the things that, not to get to, because I'm in marketing, like to marketing-y, but it's like you truly start to see it, once you start moving into the interviews, you start getting other internet personalities on the show, and you can see it in your like YouTube thumbnail creation. It's very interesting, and it's another reason why I love your channel. It's why we wanted you guys to come on, because you have such an organic progression through, and it's great. It's so great to watch. So I would like to move into what would be like the present state of your channel. Before we do that, I do want to show everyone, I think, Daniel, I don't know if you grabbed it or not, but we did grab some screenshots of like very early on.
Oh, man.
We're not aware of you. Do we have like the early on photo, Daniel? There it is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this was like, I loved like the fisheye setup, the shirt. I mean, it's very like,
it's my art desk. It's not even a real table. It's like, oh my God.
But I mean, dude, you've got
no statues whatsoever.
Toby's Spider-Man back there. You've got I think like is that an Alex Ross like print?
It is. So I still have all that. It's just now there's statues. Obviously behind me, there's statues, there's shelves. I mean, it's crazy to remember where you came from. And that's something I try to do all the time, especially in the field that we're in. But yeah, man, that's a blast from the past, and you can see the excitement in Illiana's face, and my hair was longer. It's just crazy.
I mean, it's so great. I mean, and I think again, moving into where we are now, Daniel, do we have a picture of Miguel and Illiana together now? Look, there you guys are. I mean, so you guys have grown like so much. I mean, look at the background has changed. That Joker, not from The Killing Joke, but I think that's the one where he was his face. Is it Death in the Family?
Wait, which one?
Face off?
Oh, the one on the top one.
Yeah, I know it's Scott Snyder.
Yeah, so that's it's funny. That's not even a Joker from DC. That's actually a Halloween ornament. That goes in the ground outside.
Oh, did you mod it?
No, I just stuck it on the wall.
I thought it was like a skeleton, and then you made it all Joker.
No, it's supposed to be like that. It comes out of the like floor for Halloween, but it's the Joker. They just couldn't. They don't have the license for it, so they just call it Joe. But it's definitely
I love it.
Looks like it's from the comic that you're referring to. So I definitely, it's probably the creepiest thing. I almost returned that when I got it in the mail, by the way, because I was like, oh my god, it's creepy, but I love it.
Yeah, and that killing joke, with the camera, that one's horrifying. I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
But again, getting back to the present of where you guys are at, there's a question that I had felt. It was the first question I wrote, I should say, because it was the one that it's always been, I've always found interesting. At what point at where your channel is now did you realize where you're like, oh shit, like this thing has taken off? Like we're at 116,000. Like what was the last milestone that you hit with the current state of your channel where you're like, oh yeah, this is real? Like,
well, I could tell you when I knew it was starting to get real. I could tell you when I know exactly the moment, moment. So, and then I'll tell you what my latest milestone was. But when I knew this was starting to get real was when, again, we wanted to do things to, try to bring light on certain things. So there was a place called the Black Jaguar White Tiger Foundation, which was it's probably the biggest cat sanctuary in the world, or was, because it doesn't no longer exist. And it was in the heart of Mexico City, believe it or not. And it was not open to the public. There were celebrities that couldn't even go there that wanted to go there. Some celebrities did manage to go there and stuff, but I remember I donated to them, and through my job, we also donated to them where they matched and stuff. And I bought a lot of their merch to bring light to, what he was doing with the animals and cats and trying to save them. And these were all cats that, got taken out of circuses or the black market or poaching and things. So, and he had a lot of them. So when we did that video, and we weren't big at all when we did that video, the owner caught wind of this all the way in Mexico, to the point where he loved it so much, he paid for me and my family to go out there. And at first I was nervous. I'm like, what's going on? Right.
Who is this person? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I knew who he was, but I was like, there's no way, because like literally his Instagram was bigger than like the NFL. Like it was huge. It was a huge Instagram, crazy, and obviously when it comes to animals, there's controversy too. So there was people against it, and whatever, it came with the territory. But so we flew out there, man. He got us a place to stay. I'm thinking about it. I'm here with my daughter who's young, her mom, and we just went on a limb, right? And again, this was a private sanctuary. It was a private sanctuary, and when we got there, man, it was just, and you could see it all over our social media. There's obviously the episode's still on our YouTube channel in the background, like where we're interviewing the owner who loves Superman. We brought him a Superman statue. You see in the back a big window, and there's baby lions just playing around, and like he let them inside at one point, and you can see that on our Instagram, and like you see a bunch of little baby lions and leopards and cheetahs and tigers just running across, and we're like, oh my goodness, right? But we took a video of a lion that was in a habitat with a Labrador. And in the video, you see the Labrador, and all of a sudden you see, like, I swear this was the lion from Narnia just come in. There's a huge white lion come in. Nobody expected that, and it grabbed the dog's paw, and it looked like it kissed it, but it was smelling it. Literally a 10-second video or something like that. There was no such thing as shorts back then, and that video got so popular that it blew up and went viral. And at that point, YouTube started to introduce shorts, and they made it a short. That was one of the first shorts that YouTube ever created.
Wow.
Now that video by itself has like 80 million views or something like that.
Wow.
But
damn.
I remember being at work, and that video, and like my phone blew up so much that I had to call my boss and be like, something's happening. I need to step out. My phone blew up so much that it died on me. That's how much it blew up. And this was companies hitting me up to license the video. This was people trying to invite me up. Like, if you guys want to know how you know you go viral, believe me, you're gonna know, because people and companies are gonna start reaching out because they want this video, they want to share it. And I knew nothing about this. Nobody helped me to do this channel or anything. I mean, obviously I got help from my family, but like I didn't have any professional help. I didn't have any managers, stuff like that. So this company called Junkin Media hit me up, and I let them license the video. And there's like a split between 70-30. And basically what they do is they sell that video to companies. And like, it was on Ridiculousness. It was on like a bunch of like, you know, commercials and stuff. And then my channel started blowing up too. So aside from that, with a combination of the news and us doing community work and, you know, us doing unboxings, and at that point we were still doing like the smaller things, because Illiana was young. We were doing, you know, blind bags, but then we started moving into statues as she grew. Then we started taking off, and that's when I immediately knew. I was like, all right, this is getting crazy. So then that's when we started getting better with the cameras and the lighting, because you can see it was horrible. It progresses.
Google copyright law. What's an LLC?
LLC. And then eventually we, you know, one day we hit the 100,000 subscriber, and just so you guys know, because I get this question a lot. You're supposed to get monetized at 1,000 subscribers, but because this is not why I started the show. I didn't really care for it, even though that video was licensed. We didn't get monetized until we hit the 100K, because then I finally was just like, let me look into this. Let's do this. But the biggest milestone for Illiana was that plaque behind me, right? Every kid wants to hold that plaque. And it's funny because when we go to do the assemblies in school and stuff, we bring that with us, because the kids freak out when they see it. They never seen one in purpose, like in person. They want to hold it, and it's just the plaque, you know what I mean? But they go crazy. So that was another milestone. And then just, you know, a couple other milestones was the celebrities. The celebrities were always fun. Obviously, you know, we've had Cal Dodd on the show, which now we're like really good friends with, who's the voice of Wolverine. You know, we've had Run DMC on the show. We've had wrestlers, UFC fighters, celebrities, artists. I mean, you name it. And when that started going, you know, again, I wanted to be different. I wanted to branch out. I wanted to, you know, do these interviews and talk about things that, you know, they were doing to change the world using their platform, and, you know, talk about their careers. And just, there was always little milestones that we kept hitting. Now our next milestone is 200K. You know, one day that'll come. But yeah, we keep continuing trying to grow the show, but it's definitely been a roller coaster. And just between getting better at what we're doing, practice makes perfect. What is it?
That's it.
Is that it? Okay.
We'll practice that statement.
Yeah, I definitely do. But yeah, man, getting better at what we were doing, and getting better equipment, and doing other things, and doing events and stuff. It just, you could see us grow, you know. And it was it wasn't always a you know, a peak up to the mountain. It's a roller coaster, man. There's ups and downs. There's, you know, but man, I'm very grateful for where we're at. Very grateful.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, another reason that that people do, I would say, like and subscribe to your content is that statement that I think we all, you know, anyone who wants to be in this industry, or in any industry really, it's like there's no straight line to success ever. You know, and it's just being grateful, don't take anything for granted, and just be the hardest worker in the room, right?
Yeah,
I know I know you're a fan of.
Get up when you fall, because I can't tell you how many times I wanted to quit. You know, unfortunately in this industry, there's good and bad, and sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. But you know, there's a lot of times where you got to remember what you're trying to do online and what you're trying to portray. Just remember, there's other people that are looking up to you, and you don't want to do things that could possibly hurt that, you know. So we try to always stay positive, and do good for the community and just always, climb up that mountain as high as it lets us,
Right. Absolutely. So like, again, staying in the present of where your channel is now, Miguel, there's a question that I stole from my girlfriend. I was asking her, we were talking about the show, and she asked like a question sort of off the cuff, and it ended up being my favorite question that I wrote down, because it's something that I think we probably could have taken we've been live for about 45 minutes now, the entire 45 minutes, but it's pretty simple. It's, you started, I mean, it goes back about 6 years, right? To that first Sim Sum video to where you are now. How does it feel for you as a father to watch like your daughter grow up live on your channel?
Dude, it's crazy, man, because I mean, you saw that video, and it's funny because she's so happy. I mean, she's still happy, but you could see how it kind of, now she's getting into her teen years too. So it's kind of like, but it makes me so proud because of how it was, and before this channel, and she's matured so much at an early age, and has learned so much, and now at an early age learns how to help others, because there's been times where she's gone up to me and say, hey, I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, let's do it, and that has, whether it's cleaning the park or doing something for the community, it's all her doing it. She's a lifeguard now. We had a Special Olympics team that we did for 2 years, and she was manning it too, and to see that as a father, it makes me proud. It's really what it comes down to. And she's a professional now. Now I'm just like, I'm the one getting nervous, messing up lines, and she's like, Dad, you silly goose, right?
Keep it together. Keep it together, Dad.
But yeah, and now it's a little different now because she's a teen now, so she's got one leg out. You don't see her as much on the shows because now she's got school, she's got work. She's gonna start driving. She's growing up, man. Like that's all I could say. She's growing up. So it's hard for me because it's something that I was doing with her. I mean, you could see us on our shirts, right? It's just me and her. But hopefully one day, my son, who's 4 and he's starting to talk more and do all these things, maybe he's gonna take over. We're gonna see a ToyQuest 101.2 or something. Like I don't know. But yeah, man, it's just she's growing now, and I don't know what's really gonna happen. I'm sure she's still gonna come in. She still does little shorts with me and stuff. We just did these shorts for YouTube where she's dancing, had me dancing like a dummy. But and they, of course, they got views. They got views. I was like, oh, great.
Everyone go watch them. They're very good.
Oh my god. Because yeah, man, it's just whatever she wants to do, I'm gonna support her no matter what. But we're at a point now with our channel that the channel kind of gives back to itself. We've been beyond blessed to have companies partner up with us. So many companies. I mean, we had Sideshow, Iron Studios, Gentle Giant. I mean, you name, most of the companies work with us and send us stuff to review. Which I'm super appreciative for, because I can't afford this stuff. It's an expensive hobby, but that gives us content, and it gives us reign to kind of show collectors out there what they could potentially get and try to help out as many people as possible. And it's fun, man, to see people who never owned a statue before, and their first statue was like a life-size, green Power Ranger that's from a company overseas or something, so it's just crazy. But yeah, we're fortunate enough to keep the content coming, and now we just we literally do like an episode every week. It's crazy. We got a live show on Fridays. I got a live show with our friends over a Professoro on Mondays, Profi Chat. I'm constantly trying to do stuff, and now I could go live now because Illiana's kind of one leg out type thing. And I'm just there hanging out with the community and the friends. So a lot's changing, and lots to come from us too. So
yeah, Dan. I mean, that's very well said. And Illiana is like, don't worry. She's like, I'm getting royalties on the back end, whether I'm 1 foot in or 2 feet in. She's like, I'm on the sweatshirt. I'm getting paid.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. even when we do events, like I'm the one who sets it up and she strolls on later on. Like, you know, I'm just like, are you gonna help me pack up? She's like, no, I gotta go to swim. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. You know what I mean? Like
that sounds like my relationship with Autumn. She does all the work and I'm like, all right, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Illiana, I get you. But yeah, man, you were talking about sort of, this current state that you're in. I love that you're doing more live content. Obviously, we're here at Fandom Social, huge proponents for live content. We're live now, if anyone hasn't noticed. But with that, also we're coming into what we have deemed the future of your show, and you've already started to dabble in it. And for everyone out there, we'll be live for about another 10 more minutes. If you have any questions for Miguel, anything that you guys want to ask, toss them in the chat. Daniel will screen them, and we'll go ahead and fire off as many of these at Miguel as we can, because I've got just a few more, but this will be the only negative question that I'll ask.
Okay.
This is a community that is, I feel, especially in collecting, in pop culture, it is ripe for gatekeeping, right? I'm sure you've seen it a ton. We've seen it, a ton. Everyone out there in their communities has seen it. Your channel is diametrically opposed to that. Like, you guys are so positive and such an incredible force in the community. When you come up against that friction of negativity on some of your channels, in your Facebook group, Collectors Assemble, on your channel, on your shows, Instagram, how do you deal with that negativity? I assume you absorb all that. Illiana doesn't see any of it.
Well, yes and no. So that's a really good question too. So, listen, the one thing I'll tell anybody who's doing anything like this, that's in public, it comes with the territory. So as long as you could accept that right away, and not necessarily react to it, you'll be fine. And like I said, you got to roll with the punches, obviously there's a lot of great positive things in the community that I absolutely love. You make friendships, you make partnerships, there's so many people you meet out there in the world, and people that I haven't even met in person and have this relationship with, which is awesome. But there's also negative things too. And Illiana got caught in the tail end of something like that recently, and it really, really hurt her. And it was a learning moment. So like, do I regret it happening? No, because it was a learning moment for her. And unfortunately, that's what this territory is. And sometimes you encounter things like that in life. And the biggest thing that you want to do is try not to react to it. There's always that delete button, right? There's always a way to spin it to a positive thing. And listen, when you start getting haters, just know that that's when you made it. All right. So,
there it is.
But yeah, I mean, I think people pretty know how I'm straightforward, now doing the lives and stuff, it's a different beast, right? Because everything was pre-recorded. Now anything could happen live. But yeah, man, we try to roll with the punches and be positive. And as long as we know that, listen, I compare things like that like crickets, right? There's a lot of chirping when you're not around, but then when you get close to them, they get quiet. So
real quiet.
Quiet. So, but yeah, man, just like I said, it comes with a territory. So as long as we stay positive and overlook it, it's never gonna affect you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, very well said. Yeah, don't worry about people who've never done it. That's what I say. So, yeah, man. And again, looking at towards the future of your show, you've talked about hitting that 200,000 subscriber milestone, which I'm sure you guys will hit in no time. What are some other aspirations outside of just like the channel that you're hoping to reach within the next 5 to 10 years with ToyQuest?
Well, everything's growing, man. Hopefully, this is something my son wants to do as well. So that'll be cool to have him on. I never thought of me doing this by myself, so it's kind of a little different now, like I said, because Illiana is kind of she's kind of like on that line, I don't think she's gonna leave forever, but like obviously you guys seen that she hasn't been on the show as much. But as far as the future, man, it's hard to know what we want to do. I mean, obviously we want to keep doing positive things. I know what we want to keep doing. It's funny because we do have some like weird, like I call them unrealistic. Well, I don't want to say unrealistic, but they're fantasy goals. And what I mean by that is like,
let's hear them.
Yeah. Okay. So fantasy goals. So obviously so now it's a little different with celebrities, right? Because before we used to do pre-recorded episodes, and now that we were doing lives, the point of me bringing all these guests on and being different from all the other live shows is because I want the chats and the community to also be a part of it and talk to them and stuff. I'm giving them a chance to talk to somebody they looked up to, or you know what I mean? So that we've always had like a list of celebrities that we always like fantasy goal, right? Illiana's is John Cena, loves John Cena. And all these people have done something great. So John Cena has the most Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes.
Yeah, he does.
Ever, obviously, huge WWE superstar, huge movie superstar. John Cena's her favorite. For me, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, what can you find negative about that guy? Love The Rock. Would love to interview him. Hugh Jackman is another one. You would love to have Hugh Jackman on. There's a couple celebrities like that that we would love to just have on and talk. It's a goal of ours. Another goal was and this is something kind of Illiana came up with too, is she and for me as well, but we always wanted to see if one day we could land like a cameo on something. Anything. Like, kill me off somewhere, I don't care, but especially for her, for the autism representation, right? Even if it's something small, we always thought it would be cool. So like, make me a stormtrooper or something, or have Wolverine kill me off, or Deadpool or something. Anything.
Two ToyQuest 101 zombies.
Right.
With their sweaters on.
Right. Let me give like Spider-Man a high five in New York or something. I don't know, anything like that, where people could see us in just a small moment to shine. But for Illiana, it's the autism representation and inclusion and all that is something she always wanted to do. And you see and we know a lot of people who got cameos and stuff and that, but that was one of our real like I said, fantasy goals and stuff. Man, just things like that. But anything that happens, as long as it's positive, we'll be all right with it, man.
That's like the best. That's the best attitude to have, I would say, going forward to it, is like, let it happen. If it happens, if it doesn't, you just got to keep rolling. You just got to keep moving forward. We have someone in the chat saying she needs to get an agent. We'll get her an agent.
Oh my God, I know. You know what's funny? Because I've actually like had some cameos in movies. Like I was in Creed and stuff. A lot of people don't know. I've done like commercials back in the day. But yeah, man, I don't know. Another goal is, if I ever I've had companies. What's funny is I had companies reach out before to hire me for them, but it didn't include Illiana because Illiana's not an adult, and I've denied them because the whole point of the show was because of Illiana. I didn't want to go away from the purpose of this show. But now towards the future, if that's something that gets laid out on the table and it's good, hey, why not? If I could do it on a bigger platform, I wouldn't mind that either. But we'll see what happens. Like I said before, for as big as we are, even if we had two people and I'm making somebody happy or putting a smile on our face or impacting them, that's really what it's all about. So
yeah, dude, it's incredibly well said. And Miguel, thank you so much. We were only supposed to go 45 minutes.
Sorry.
I knew it wasn't going to happen. I had a game planned for us. Like, we were going to play this fun game, but honestly, like, we were just going to have, I had this feeling that your story and the story of ToyQuest 101 is just so interesting. And I'm really glad because you go live so often, you post so much. And I truly wanted people, which is the purpose of this and why, Autumn had wanted to do the series, wanted you to be the first guest, was, when people are watching your videos, they're watching you live with Profesoro and like all your friends that you guys go live with. When you do go live, like who that person is and why you're so positive, why you are the way you are. Like, I think it's incredibly impactful. It's incredibly important. The very last question that I have for you is looking back now. I mean, this ToyQuest has been around for 6, maybe coming up on 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, what do you consider your anniversary?
It's September. It just actually passed, but it's funny because like I never like people get mad at me because I never celebrate myself. You know, I never celebrate. I'll do stuff for Illiana or like, you know, the community all the time, but like, you know, but yeah, it's up September. I think it's September 17th or something like that. The official start date of our channel. But yeah, September of 2017, I believe. Is basically our anniversary. Yep.
So looking back on, you know, from 2017 to now, if there are people out there who would like to create a channel and they want to do something either in this space or in another space, looking back at your journey through this, what are some things you worried about 7 years ago now that you laugh about now? And that you're like, I should have never worried about that ever. What are some pitfalls that you found yourself finding into that maybe you could, lead some advice into?
Man, I mean, well, my advice would be a little different from my pitfalls, but my pitfalls would have been like, I was always worried about how we like came off, because we were like literally, it's like a house show, you know what I mean? Like it was it was so like third party. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I don't even think now we're that professional, but at least I got like cool lights and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
I have the plaque,
right?
So
yeah, right. But like I remember I was so like, people say I'm your worst critic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Illiana didn't even worry about it. I worried about it more. And, you know, I wish I never really stressed so much about that. Not that it, bothered me a lot, but like I was trying to be so perfect sometimes. And a lot of good things happen when it just comes out natural, man. Like it really does. And as far as advice for people, and, if you guys are starting to, and you're going to see a lot of YouTubers starting now and all that, the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is a couple things. And number one is, do not pay attention to the number. The number doesn't mean anything. The number doesn't mean anything, guys. Like I said, I didn't start this to look for 1,000 subscribers. I didn't start this to look for monetization. Just don't pay attention to the numbers. The numbers will come. Just like, if you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams. Paul, have you seen it? All right, cool. Yeah, man, just, don't pay attention to numbers. If you're doing this because you love it, do it because you love it. And the biggest advice that I could give anybody is remember where you came from. Because I feel like a lot of people who start this journey and end up where they are forget where they came from, and a lot of values change. And that's something that I never want to do. I don't ever want to change. Because I know where I started. I didn't come from anything. I didn't get any help. I didn't, you know what I mean? So I want to be the person who helps others. I want to be the person who motivates and drives people. But don't ever forget where you came from, and just be different too. Like, don't be the same. If I try to be as different as I can, whether it's the live shows, whether it's our unboxings, obviously you always inspire, get inspiration from other people. You take ideas and stuff, which is fine, but, try to be different, because the people that are different is what are the people that are going to get, more attention, because it's different. Right. So, those are the three biggest things that I would tell anybody, that's trying to be an influencer or YouTuber or anything like that. Just be yourself. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Be creative, and remember where you came from. Stay positive.
That's it, man. Yeah. Well, Miguel, thank you so very much, man, for being here.
Appreciate
again. The hour flew by. It was a real long 45 minutes that we went
through. I'm sorry.
No. What if I would have just end stream right at 45 minutes? How would that look? No, honestly, it was interesting. And I really hope that all of you out there got to know another side of Miguel and the team at ToyQuest, because I mean, it was an absolutely incredible story, Miguel. And thank you again. It's really difficult. I understand, like, being a host, you don't like talking about yourself, but thank you for coming on here, being vulnerable. And again, for everything that you've done and for letting people in even further into the ToyQuest brand. So before we get out of here, Miguel, tell people where they can find you live this week. What's your show schedule? This is just plug away, whatever you need.
I got you, man. Everything's under ToyQuest 101. We try to drop a review every Thursday, or every once a week at least. Now that's where we're at, where we're reviewing statues. I mean, this is a sneak peek at the next one real quick if you guys want to check it out.
Ooh,
pretty cool. Merman for Tweeterhead. That should be coming out shortly. On Fridays, you can catch me on Collectors Assemble Live, which is our live show where we have celebrity guests. We have guests in general, artists. I mean, anything that could be different. And, you know, I've had Paul on, we've had Autumn on. You know, we just try to have fun, really. We talk about figures, we talk about pop culture, movies, you get it. And then on Mondays, I'm with, you know, my good friend El Profesoro. You can find him on his channel on Profi Chat. It's me, P Rock, which is another great friend of mine. He also has his own channel, and Bretta, who's, you know, awesome guy as well. And we sit there, we, you know, talk pop culture and kind of do the same thing, but on his channel. But that's pretty much where I'm at. And wherever I get invited to, man, I try to make it on, you know, to help out whoever. And Collectors Assemble Live, our Friday night show is exactly what it is. I always have rotating panels, rotating people on there to just try to make it different, man. And we've grown to have a lot of people who are always following us. I see a couple people here now. You know, Anthony Kennedy's an awesome guy. I haven't been paying attention to the chat, so I'm sorry. So whoever's here, you know, thank you for being here. But yeah, man, just ToyQuest 101. You can find us, and you know, if you ever want to reach out, I'm an open book. Just, you know, hit me up.
Miguel, thank you so much. And again, ToyQuest 101, everywhere, anywhere. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for their channel. And then for us, we'll be live. We're live once a week now. So we'll be live next week.
And wait. I'm going to cut you off. I got to say something important because this didn't come up, but I just want you guys to know how, I know. I'm sorry. I want you to know how impactful and important Paul and Autumn meant to us. And they're one of Illiana's favorites to ever come out of Sideshow when they were there. And to this day, you know, she loves them, and I've grown to love them as well. And they've been great people in the community. And I just want to tell you guys have been doing great. I love what you guys are doing. You're always welcome on our show. But I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart as a father and as a fan, you know, for being you guys. And, you know, don't ever change that. So I wanted to plug you guys too, not because I'm on the show, but because I really appreciate it. What better time to do it than embarrass you on your own show?
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're two people who do not take compliments well. So this has been fantastic. This has been great. Yeah, man. I mean, we could literally go on and just our paths crossing and how impactful each of our timelines have been to each other. But it's running late for not only Miguel, but for all of you guys. Thank you so very much for watching, not only this show, but for all the shows, all the support in the Facebook group, everywhere. Again, ToyQuest 101, follow them everywhere, anywhere, at every single time that you possibly can. We'll be live next Thursday, same time, same channel, right here. Next week is a relaxed fit. It's a boot cut episode, we like to say, Miguel. We just talk pop culture news, what's been going on. And then after that, we have a deep dive episode that we've been going into, where we sort of go into areas of fandom and pop culture that we find fascinating and maybe you all interact with, but we're going to peel back the curtain a little bit further. So Miguel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, man.
All of you. Super producer Daniel, thank you for manning the you know, the ones and twos back there. We appreciate you, or at least Miguel does. Thank you so much. And again, we're really bummed that Autumn couldn't be here, but she'll be here for the next one. And we will do our best to have you on, Miguel, with all three of us, so we can all just hang out, talk Prince and Michael Jackson again. We'll just stop there. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. Nope. But with that, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great, fun, safe weekend. Make sure to catch Miguel this weekend wherever he's going to be live. Again, Collectors Assemble, right, is the Friday show tomorrow. Yep. So you guys, what time is that in Eastern?
That is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday.
8:30 Eastern, everyone. Tomorrow, catch him. It's a really fun panel, really fun show. You literally never know what you're going to get. So tune in, grab a drink, have some fun. We'll see you guys very soon. Like what you like, love what you like, and don't be a jerk about it, everyone. Take care. Bye, guys.